My name is John Ray Guevara. I'm a fifth-year Asian American Studies major here at SF State.
My name is Nicole Iveta, and I am a fourth year, and I am a cinema major and race and resistance minor.
My name is Cyan Chang, and I'm 21, and my major is visual communications with an astronomy minor.
My name is Valerie So. I am a professor of Asian American Studies at San Francisco State. And I teach film history, filmmaking, photography, and first year experience.
I'm Russell Jung, Chair of Asian American Studies. I'm 56 years old this year.
So the reason I believe that ethnic studies is important is because, our stories deserve to be learned, shared, and loved for what they are.
I think the Department of Ethnic Studies is important because it helps students learn about how education can be a form of activism and how they can use their learning to affect social change and to achieve social justice.
Ethnic studies has made me reflect about my family's history, whether it's from the Philippines to Mexico, and learning the history of their resistance has definitely grounded me in what I want to do with my work.
My dad inspired me to do ethnic studies because my dad is the one who is part of my Asian side. So he really teaches me and reminds me how important it is to be Chinese and be a part of my culture.
I've always had role models in the community who came out of ethnic studies and were activists, and they stayed in the community. They didn't ever leave, and I wanted to be part of that movement where we stay in our communities, work with our communities, learn from our communities, and then grow our communities.
My friends inspired me to be interested in ethnic studies. When I first came here in 2016, I had a friend who was part of the hunger strike, which was reflecting about the budget cuts of ethnic studies and the attacks on the faculty and the attacks on cutting the programs within ethnic studies. And that really made me feel agitated, and there was a sense of urgency, and that made me want to be more involved in the campus.
My interest in ethnic studies started when I was an undergraduate, years and years ago, and I took Asian American Studies classes at UCLA. And I worked in the Asian American Studies department, and I wrote for the Asian American student newspaper. So it was just really great to have a relevant education, stuff that related to my life and that had some meaning.
Actually, I think the interest of ethnic studies began when I was about probably elementary school age, because I did go to a Chinese American international school. And that was the first step of me, being introduced to the ethnic studies world. And especially when I got to SF State. Ethnic studies isn't my major, but I did take a lot of classes. So I feel like being in San Francisco and being a local especially, it was good to get that education under my belt.
What I'm most proudest of is having my students go out into the community and host community health fairs for refugees. And through those health fairs also gather information and data to create a report that actually changed how refugee policy and refugee resettlement policy was done in Alameda County. So it had a real significant impact. From that student-based study, working with the community, we raised probably over $1 million in grant funding through it.
Oh, my most memorable moment. Oh, man. Whew. That's a hard question. Well, I remember a few years ago when they had the strike to support ethnic studies. I was really inspired by that because the students really took a lead in that, and it was exciting to see them so committed to something that they believed in. So I was really inspired by that whole situation where it was really led by the students.
Where do I want to see the College of Ethnic Studies in 50 years? I want to see it institutionalized in places other than just SF State. other than just the San Francisco Unified School District, which we're still fighting for, honestly. I would like to see ethnic studies at its purest, where it's stories of people of color, by people of color, for people of color, and just having that representation, because you can gain so much and you can learn so much from just having that. Having someone, if they're your teacher, just having someone that looks like you. And you know, we're fortunate enough to be in a place like San Francisco where the diversity is so high, and your teacher, your professor may not necessarily be your ethnicity, but they can at least look somewhat like you. Super empowering.
You know, I feel like if other schools could kind of take after the College of Ethnic Studies, that would be great, and establish their own ethnic studies programs that stand alone, as opposed to being a part of like a history department or an English department. So one of the things that's really great about our school is that we have our own College of Ethnic Studies. So that's really great.